Welcome to episode 7. This week, the Grills tackle a continuation from last week regarding E3. More console stuff, virtual reality, comic books, and Heroes of the Storm news. Without further ado, cue the intro music.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to Geek Grills, a podcast about geeky things hosted by women. I'm September, also known as 9 of 12, and I'm here with my co-hosts, the Jen.
Hello.
And Chris, also known as Lunescence.
Hello.
Hello.
So, Grills, what have you been up to?
Stuff. So much stuff.
Jen?
Comic books. Oh my god, comic books. So, I've been rewatching, as we talked about a couple episodes ago, I've been rewatching The Walking Dead. So I was like, wow, you know what? I haven't read the comics in a really long time. So I want to go back and check that out and like kind of see what I think about the original stuff. And so that got me into, oh my god, how do I read comic books in a way that isn't in physical book form? So then I said, okay, what is this Comixology thing? And one thing led to another, and then I subscribed for the Comixology Unlimited thing so that I could buy, I went into Comixology to buy the Walking Dead comics, could read them, which allowed me to find Unlimited, which then allowed me to start checking out the first couple episodes, the first couple issues. Boy, obviously I'm a super comic book nerd, can you tell? It allowed me to check out the first couple issues of some comic books, and so now I've found like 3 different comic books that I want to read, and thanks Comixology, because I can only read the first 2 or 3 issues through Unlimited, and so now I'm like, okay, I want to buy this and this. Yeah, no, definitely not so unlimited. I do appreciate the service though. I definitely like it. I like the idea that I can get in, check out first couple issues and say, okay, is this for me? Yes, no, maybe so. So that gives me a chance to decide before I just buy it, because otherwise I'd have no money. So I like that, but I feel like Comixology Unlimited might be kind of a confusing term, because like with Marvel Unlimited, with their system, you get all of the comic books that they have in their database, right? You can read them all, I think. And Comixology Unlimited is basically like, yeah, here's the first couple issues of a bunch of stuff.
So it's a good way to sample.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Like, I do like the idea that I can sample things. Like, I think that's a great tool, and I'm definitely willing to pay a few bucks a month for that service, especially because it's been so long since I've been really into reading comic books that there's so many things out there. Like, I found, just to name a couple of the things that I've been reading that I really liked, was The Life After, which I just checked out, and it's really fun, so I'm going to be buying the rest of the issues of that. And then I've been reading The Wicked and the Divine, which is kind of a weird little book, so that's been kind of cool. So I've been checking that out. And then, of course, I've been reading The Walking Dead from the beginning, just because I wanted to have kind of a little bit of a nostalgia fest. And, of course, then I'm like, oh, there's this thing, and now I've just been going through the train of all these different comic books to read. So I definitely like the service, but I do think that Unlimited is maybe not the right way to call, like, the right name for the service. Like, I think it should be like Comixology Discover or something like that, which is probably more
a good suggestion.
More of what it is. Oh, and to totally nerd out and bring things back to Legion. So Dark Horse is doing a World of Warcraft Legion comic that I found. I won't spoil it, but go on to Comixology and read it. I think it's free to read through their service, even if you don't have Unlimited. But the first issue is out. It just launched on June 30th. It released, and my favorite dwarf chick is in it. So I was super excited about that, and I nerded out about that a little bit for sure.
Right on.
Who's your favorite dwarf chick?
Moira Tharosane.
Who is she?
She's the daughter of Magni Bronzebeard.
Oh.
And she's the one that married Emperor Tharosane And, you might remember from the Hearthstone Black Rock Mountain event when she's there and I guess will only attack if you have taunts out or something like that.
What platforms is Comixology on?
So far, I've used it in the web browser. I've used it on my Android phone. From what I heard, it also goes to iPad. And the cool thing, too, about when you read books on it is that you can double-click the panel and then go into a panel view. So it'll just scroll from panel to panel to panel, which for me is much better with my terrible old lady eyesight. So I've actually really been enjoying it because it's been easier for me to read and I'm not squinting all the time. And it seems pretty accessible from all over the place. So that's why I got it as a recommendation, because I asked my friend who's a really big comic book nerd, and I was like, so is Comixology worth it? And he was like, yes, because you can use it on all the things. And it remembers who you are, too. So, like, if I was reading a comic book at work on my browser at work, which I, of course, would never do, and then I come home and I want to open a browser there, and I go to the book, it remembers where I was. Or if I go to my cell phone, same thing. So I'm kind of able to jump from one to the other to the other. So
cool.
It's been pretty cool. Yeah. So I definitely thumbs up to that. But I definitely think the name is kind of a misnomer.
Alrighty. So what have you been up to, Loon?
Well, I've been getting up to rank 14 in Hearthstone because yay. And
already? Nice.
That's good. Isn't that where you were, like, towards the end of the season last month?
Yes, and now I'm back to rank 16 or 17.
Oh, no.
In one night.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's fun. But I'm still focusing on getting a, golden shaman, and I will, and I'm doing warrior decks in between shaman and warrior when shaman isn't working as well. So I have, what is it? Sorry, I'm not logged into my Hearthstone account right now. So I have less than 70, I want to say 60 games to go until Golden Golden Hearthstone Shaman.
How many golden heroes is that for you now?
That will be 5.
Nice.
Yeah, so not
I
quite
have been.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. My son's
go ahead.
bugging me. Okay. I have actually been playing some WoW this week, which is nice, and with my husband. We're running old content to try and get some gold going for Legion, and he's been making bags because, those will sell when the expansion drops. And I finished that Apexis grind. For those of you who don't know, you can go do these daily quests and collect crystals at the in the Tanan jungle in World of Warcraft. And you need like a gazillion of them, and building reputation with certain factions and able to be allowed to buy some things. So I bought the corrupted Dreadwing mount and the Blazing Firehawk pet on my main, and I found out you can cage the Blazing Firehawk.
Yeah.
And they're only 2,000 gold, or 2,000 crystals once they're unlocked, which you can do every day. So I may be selling some of those. They don't seem to be going for a really high price right now. But, yeah.
There'll be a point where somebody wants them. I definitely spend way too much time with the WoWkimon, collecting the battle pets, and that's how I make most of my gold when I'm playing WoW. So there's definitely some viable opportunities there if you collect the WoW pets and things like that. After a while, people don't want to spend the time grinding it to be able to get access to that. So definitely when Legion drops, you'll probably get some people that'll want to buy it for even a little bit more gold than it's selling for now. So heck, why not?
Yep, that's I figured while I was out there.
Yeah, that's cool.
What else? Oh, Don't Starve Together.
Yeah, how was that?
After reviewing it for part-time gamers, I really got into it, and I wish I had more time to play it because it is hard. And I like that. I like a really challenging game like that.
That's awesome.
So, Chris, what is this Waterdeep thing you wanted to mention?
Oh, we can save that for next week. It's fine.
Aww. I was going to complain about Lords of Waterdeep. I mean, about how awesome it is. So tune in next week to hear about Lords of Waterdeep. So with Don't Starve Together, is it, so I know you mentioned that it's hard. That's the feedback I got from a lot of my friends too, is that they were actually getting kind of frustrated with it because it is kind of hard.
It really is, and there's a whole lot of meta as far as each character having very unique abilities, and it's a survival game with, but it's not just collecting food and resources, but you have to stay sane because it gets dark and monsters come. And there are very limited ways to recover your sanity once you start to lose it. And you really, really have to cooperate with other people.
That reminds me a little bit of Call of Cthulhu. That old tabletop game?
Yeah.
Where you're like, all right,
yes,
we might know. Let's see if we can win the campaign. Or most importantly, can the entire party not go crazy before the campaign is over? We might not die.
And like Call of Cthulhu.
Which is,
like
what Sunless Sea is based off of.
Oh. Ew.
So the option to run is incredibly viable in this game often.
That's so funny. That's pretty much like when I did a zombie Voffer LARP called Dystopia Rising, and that was the one thing, was like, when in doubt, just run. Just run. That was pretty much, if you want to live through the weekend, just run. Don't get good at fighting. Like, the most important skill is the ability to just go, well, I'm out. And turn heel and run.
Yep. I absolutely agree. And if you want to check out that review on Part-Time Gamers, we did go over a brief synopsis of each character and their abilities. So if you're going to jump in, it might be helpful to have that up front. There's also a really good wiki online. The problem is it's not quite up to date with things that were added later. There are characters missing from the Don't Starve Together that are in it or were added later. So just a few things missing, but it's a good place to go for information before playing.
Cool. I might have to check that out when I have more free time. Oh, wait, I have a million Blizzard games to play. Damn it.
There's that. And on that note, we do have some news today, and I know some of it hits Heroes of the Storm. So let's go into Geek Grapevine. Jen, you want to talk to us about what Heroes of the Storm has coming next?
New shiny stuff. Oh, wait. No. So, it has been announced that we haven't heard much about exactly when these things are coming in, but we have 2 new heroes that have been announced and will be added to the game in the next few weeks. So, we're looking at getting Gul'dan. So, that, I think, makes sense. I kind of expected him to come. I think it was appropriate with the movie and everything else. It absolutely makes sense to put him in the game. So that's cool. And I'm really excited for Ariel. That's the Archangel of Hope from Diablo. So Gul'dan, of course, for those who didn't play WoW, he's the warlock, orc, demon worshipping dude, the orcish betrayer. And so he'll probably be a DPS character. But then Ariel, the Archangel of Hope, which is from Diablo, I don't know what role Ariel will be. I'm hoping it's support, because we really don't have enough options for support in Heroes of the Storm. So it would be cool if he was some kind of support, and considering he's the Archangel of Hope, it's possible, but I'm a little nervous that he's just going to be another DPS character. So I guess we'll find out.
I thought Tyrael was an Archangel of Hope.
Tyrael was the...
Kind of?
No, Ariel was specifically the Archangel of Hope. I thought Tyrael was the Archangel of something else.
Okay.
But that's I think he was the Archangel of Justice.
So is it going to look just like Tyrael, though?
You know what? That's exactly what I was wondering. So I saw this, and I'm like, that's cool, but is he going to look any different than Tyrael? But the initial... some of the initial imagery that we have looks a little bit different, but there's not much out there. So I guess we'll find out. I'm hoping that it's a support of some kind, because we really, really need... we really need support. Like, there's just a lack of support options. But I agree. Like, I mean, the difference, I guess, with Ariel isn't Ariel a chick? I think
I have no idea.
I think it's a chick. If I remember correctly, Ariel is a chick, and I know that like there was a whole thing with like in the story of Diablo, like Malthael's like left, and so that like left all of Malthael's work like on Ariel's shoulders or something like that. And I'm it's definitely a chick, And yeah, because
I'm looking at a picture
is it a chick?
of Ariel, and boy, sure looks like Tyrael, but
with boobs. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought. But it is going to be very similar stylistically to Tyrael, I would think. But hopefully it will be a support. That would be great. But I guess we'll find out. On a side note, too, they also, the video about the in development with Gul'dan and Ariel also showed some new skins for Arthas, or new skins for heroes such as Arthas, Johanna, and Li Ming. Also, new mounts, and what I think is really funny is all of the mounts look like they're almost unrideable, but somehow they magically can be ridden by our heroes, which, I'm kind of okay with, but I do agree with the feedback from the pictures that I've seen so far that they do look a little ridiculous. It's like, here, would you like to find a way to straddle this giant spike-laden saddle thing?
That can be fun, though. I love
maybe.
Mounting up with Murky. Do you ever mount up on like a Kodo with
yes.
Murky? And you're just hanging on for
well,
dear
or
life.
You could just you can play what's the ogre? Why can't I think of his name right now?
Murky needs the smallest mount possible.
Cho'Gall. When you play Cho'Gall, like you can choose your mount. And it just changed, yeah, but when you put the horse over your shoulder, you run faster. Like, that's how the mechanic works. So I love how it's like, yes, I'm a horse giant, this giant, ostentatious paladin mount, because I have, like, the Reigns of Justice, or whatever the heck it's called. And it's like, yeah, I'll put this giant, ostentatious, like, horse over my shoulder, and now I'm faster. Awesome. But yeah, so I usually put my big giant characters on the tiniest mount ever, because it's ridiculous. Like, ETC rides like a little tiny goat for me. But I am kind of excited. Yeah, putting Stitches on the Billy Goat is definitely awesome. Diablo, too. That's like one of my friends, my duo Q buddy. He pretty much always, when he can play Diablo, he does. And when he can put Diablo on a Billy Goat, he does. So, I get it.
I didn't even know you could do that. My Diablo seems to just go down on all fours and run.
No, he rides doesn't he ride a mount? I feel like he rides a mount.
Maybe not, actually. Diablo
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe I'm thinking of Stitches. Maybe I am thinking of Stitches.
Could be.
I don't know. I just know he gets the same excitement that I do out of putting big giant heroes on top of tiny mounts, because it's ridiculous. But yes, so like I said, shiny pretty things coming to heroes, woohoo. Also, I'm kind of glad to have Gul'dan in, but it was definitely not the hero that I wanted in from WoW Next. I feel like I'm nervous that we're not going to get WoW heroes for a while, and I'm a little disappointed that those are the ones that they've chosen. Like, don't get me wrong, Medivh is cool and all, but he's not cool in heroes, and we already got him as an alternate in Hearthstone, and I would have really liked to get Yrel or any Draenei ever as an option in heroes.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Draenei. I can see Gul'dan being good as far as who's the
movie crossover and stuff too.
Well, yeah, and I know my husband would love to see some, green fire warlocky stuff.
Yeah.
Do we know Gul'dan's skills?
No, we don't know much of anything yet. They haven't released a skill set, but I'm guessing he's going to be a war.
Fear,
life tap,
and life
support
tap
too,
or like fear, and you gain life to your entire team while everybody's feared. Maybe.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because maybe he could do some kind of a support if he was like doing like a warlocky life tap thing.
And plague.
Oh.
It would be kind of like Luna.
Yeah, that could be. That's possible. He might be something interesting. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see. So we'll keep tabs. I'm excited about new heroes. I am excited about the Archangel of Hope. I think that's a cool choice from Diablo. But I just really want to freaking support. So
yeah, and I was just looking at her lore, and it's all this how fearsome she is in battle. So I don't have a lot of hope for that being a support.
Yeah, but that's how like everybody is in Diablo, though. Like Diablo is like, hey, guess what I do? I destroy things with my big weapon, and I look cool while I do it. And that's why I like Diablo. But I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't know. I liked her from the story, so that's cool. I just think it's funny that she's like, "Thanks, Malthael, for leaving, and now I've got all your work on the Archangel Council, you jerk." But anyway, her story's kind of fun. Anyway, play Diablo 3. If you haven't played it, go play it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Just saying. It's really a good fun. Like, the story is good, and I know people are like, it's not what I expect. Whatever. You know what? It's fun. It's a good story, and I know it's not the best story, but it's definitely worth the money for the playthrough, and it's pretty. Honestly, sometimes it's just nice to have pretty games.
I only find it fun with someone. I don't like to solo.
Well, yeah, once you're level 70, but if you go through the story is really good.
So next up, we have about esports, more mainstreaming of esports, ESPN on our side. New challenger joins ESPN's growing lineup of competitive video game broadcasts. They announced on Friday that it'll air the finals of the Street Fighter V World Championship during the Evolution Championship Series in Las Vegas. That's from July 15th to 17th. It'll be on ESPN2 and streaming live on Watch ESPN.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool to see like other developers getting out there. I have to be honest though, I probably won't watch it because
But Street Fighter,
I didn't know that Street Fighter V had a finals competition championship series.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
But you know what? Hey, that's cool. And it's another example of something. I mean,
One
sure.
of my kids is really into brawlers. And so for me, this is going to be an opportunity to try and drag him out, like, into the living room, like, hey, let's watch this together.
Chun-Li, just saying, Chun-Li.
Oh yeah, well, I kick you and I kick you and I kick you.
Kick, 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 kick.
Hadouken. That's pretty much all I have. That and like Street Fighter. My memory of Street Fighter is from the pizza place that my mom used to take me to. There's this local pizza shop that had a Street Fighter arcade game, and I was obviously an only child at the time, and very, very lonely. So she would give me like because I had a bunch of half siblings that were born later. So I literally had no siblings until I was 8, and now I have 4 half siblings and a step sibling, and they're just like all over the place. So it is kind of weird. But yes, at the time I was an only child. And my mom would give me like 1 quarter or 2 quarters, however much it was, and she'd be like, that's it. That's what you get. And it was always enough for 1 game. So the only way I could keep playing is if I didn't lose. So I would go there.
Not even 4 quarters?
No, she'd give me enough for 1 game. And so I'd sit there and try to like hustle people at the pizza place if I lost so I could play more. Or I just wouldn't lose and they'd be like, oh, you're using the cheesiest moves. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't get to play. And my mom had this thing about having no video games in the house. We had no console games in the house. We had no cable. She was like super against it. Of course, my brothers, they come along. They're like 10 and 12 years younger than me. They get every console ever, every channel on cable ever. But at the time, we didn't have that stuff. At my dad's house, I had like a Nintendo. But that was the only chance that I got to play like video games when I was like a young kid. So definitely get the Street Fighter nostalgia. But I don't know how I feel about it being like an e-sport like now this many years later. But anyway, that's my walk down memory lane.
That's fair. I think it'll be exciting.
It is nice it's on ESPN though. I think that is cool. The more of that happening, hopefully the better. I hope. I just want to see it be like a positive example of gaming.
Oh sure.
I think I'm going to try and get them to put it on at my local sports bar again.
Yeah, that's
like
cool. You should definitely do that for sure.
Expose the world to the games.
That's right. Yeah, no.
Right. So this cool ad, have you seen this ad, Chris?
But
The ad? The next up news item?
the ordinary Vulcan couple looks for a home to settle down in new Star Trek ads.
What is this?
I haven't personally watched the ads, but the life of a Vulcan it's not all intergalactic adventures and heroic feats of intelligence. So apparently there's a new set of ads for Quicken Rocket Mortgage Images? Or imagines. I'm sorry. Quickens Rocket Mortgages imagines a family of Spock's fellow Vulcans with a simpler domestic lifestyle to their races, like characteristics and emotionless logic to like the mundane household chores type of thing. It's kind of interesting.
So is this like a crossover to like take advantage of the fact that like the new Star Trek movie is coming?
I'm wondering.
Yes, I actually watched it, and it is a partnership with Rocket Mortgage and Star Trek Beyond. So it's basically like these rocket quick and loan things you see, except the couple talking about whether they should buy a new home and whether that is difficult or not. And this app makes it easy, and talking, they're Vulcans, about how simple and logical a method this is. And then at the end, they do like a bumper, go see Star Trek Beyond.
Nice.
So basically, nerd culture is now being directly... So, God, okay, I have so many things to say about this. How do I word it? I think this shows that they're like, no, we get it, you're nerds, but also you're of an age to buy houses. So, by the way,
Yep.
buy mortgages from us because we know you like nerd shit.
And you want a corgi.
Oh my God. I'm a grown-up. I'm a target audience. Shit.
Are we being pandered to by a mortgage company?
Thank goodness. It's about time.
Oh my gosh. I like it. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, sort of, in a weird way.
I do too. I also like that the article itself links to Zachary Quinto honoring Star Trek's co-star Anton Yelchin.
Oh, yeah.
On Stephen Colbert since Anton Yelchin passed away.
I'm still sad about it.
I know.
He was such a good casting. He was the perfect casting for it. By the way, those who don't know, Anton Yelchin I believe it was an accident. It was some kind of a...
It was a bizarre...
it was a really freak accident.
Yeah.
His car crushed him.
Like it rolled up, like it went out of park or something and like ran him over or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
From what I heard, and like there was no drugs, no alcohol, no nothing.
Because of a factory default in that car.
Oh my gosh. I didn't hear about the factory defect part. What?
Yeah, it's a known issue with the car. Has come to
Oh my
light.
gosh, that's so sad. That's so sad because he was like the perfect cast. Now here's the question. Now this is completely off topic, but what are we gonna do now? I mean, what about the nuclear vessels? Like, are they gonna just get a new person to play that character, or do they just get rid of the character altogether? Like, that's a weird thing to think about.
They'll get a new actor or a stand-in, probably. They're not gonna...
That would be weird. I feel like they should just get a new...
be.
They should just get a new...
They're
whatever
not-
he was.
Yeah, they're...
I knew whatever he was.
Yeah, that's possible.
Sorry,
too,
Star
of
Trek
course.
nerds. Don't get mad at me.
Yeah,
Star Trek, but not as much as some people like Star Trek. So
it's true. You never know. Like season 3, episode 4 of TNG. When, when that one certain specific thing happened that we don't know about.
I feel like all I can think about is the morning stream, which does a daily question with Daryl, the Trek nerd.
It used to.
Oh yeah, now they've been doing Daryl, the trivia nerd, and they just ask him all kinds of questions. But it used to be questions just about Star Trek, and he would like know these things. He'd be like, "Oh, well, let's see. It can't be this because on episode 7 of that, they went to this planet, and then they did this other thing, and then there was a platform that was called this. So obviously, it would have to be either A or B." And I'm like, "How do you know this much about Star Trek, but respect at the same time?" Like, I respect you for your knowledge.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I'm not going there, but I will. Chekhov was the navigator.
Okay, so he was the navigator. See, I'm just like, I don't know. I just know that he was cool, and that's really sad. So rest in peace, dude. That's really unfortunate. But these ads are really cool, and I'm really glad to hear that mortgage companies are pandering to us as adult nerds, and that makes me happy.
I am too. Oddly, even though I'm not going to be able to afford a house until I'm in my 70s.
Please pander your products. And please pander to me with nerdy ads. That's fantastic. Love it.
Yeah, me too.
If you'd like, the article is on Mashable. If anyone wants to search for it, Jen,
Yep.
if you want to put it, link that
I've
in the notes. I think
been
people might
linking.
enjoy watching the little videos.
I've been linking lately, everybody. So
Yay.
they're there. There have been links.
The other cool item I found this week is Samsung did a patent filing for a foldable tablet / smartphone. Now, I think this is interesting, and to me it doesn't look like I wouldn't call it foldable. It's more like a scroll. It looks like where you pull it out of a rolling.
What?
Yeah.
Clicking this link.
It's really, really nifty.
I gotta check this out.
I don't know if I want to use that,
I want to scroll.
but weird. Okay.
I like the idea for a tablet because I've had my iPad a couple years, and I mean, it doesn't fit in my purse. I have to carry a bag.
Oh, and it wouldn't break, too, because it would be all rolled up. Mm-hmm. All right. For a tablet, yes. For my phone, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see for the phone, really, but it's probably, just a matter of...
Yeah, it does.
This is just the patent. We're still a ways away.
It, opens up.
But you would lock it and unfold it by simultaneously touching a user icon on one edge and an icon for inputting a password on the other edge, and then you zip it open.
How long does it take to zip open? Because if it's not fast enough, people are not going to want it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty quick. Weird.
It just, to me, it makes me think of, I'm in D&D, and every time a scroll drops, and, I always wanted scrolls. I look at my bookshelves full of books, and it seems like it would almost be more efficient to have scrolls, because you can stack them.
I just want a library, like Karazhan.
Right?
Sorry, that was completely random. But all I could think of is, I look at books the way that, Khadgar looked books at Karazhan in the Warcraft movie.
Yeah, but tippy over bookshelves.
Yeah, that was a little traumatic for me, but yes, everything else there where it's oh, books. But yeah, I know, scrolls are cool. I don't know, this could be interesting. I don't know. Samsung getting crazy with their stuff. I mean, why not?
Oh, I see the foldable now for the phone.
And it kind of looks like it has a stepladder.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Fun. I want a stepladder, Samsung stepladder. That'd be cool.
I just want to, I want to have, devices that talk to... I want all my devices to talk to each other without having to use Apple. Fence, Ember. But...
or to me. That's fine.
Oh, do you use Apple, too? Are you also an Appler?
Well, yeah. I've got my dad's iPad and I've got my dad's iPhone that he gifted to me because I can't afford an upgrade to a phone, so...
Great that they all talk to each other.
Yeah.
And,
I
my
want
husband
that in my universe.
Had switched to a non-iPhone, and in his office, it's like a giant Faraday cage. They have crap for signal, and I couldn't reach him. And that's not okay. We have kids. There might be an emergency. Sometimes there is. We have boys. And he switched back to the iPhone because we have iMessage, so it lets us text as long as he's got Wi-Fi, and he always has Wi-Fi at work.
I mean, I had a little...
So that kind of
I had a Nano, and then I had an iPad, and then but I didn't have an iPhone, but I did like the fact that, I could have all my stuff synced together, and I can go from one to the other, like I was talking about with Comixology. It's kind of the same thing. I like the idea of being able to go from here to there to there to there, and I just wish I could do that without being limited to what video games I could play. Because I use my PC to game, and the fact that, Overwatch is not on PC for Mac, really, I mean, that's really the biggest reasons I was not getting a Mac, because I'm not going to play that on console, no way, so.
How does Android work for syncing stuff?
It does fine, because everything runs through Google, so I run everything off my Google account, my Gmail account, which I've had for, forever. So, I mean, that's okay, but there is definitely some syncability with Apple that is just not the same. For example, for podcatching, I can't use just iTunes podcatcher. I can't get iTunes on my Android. I have to either listen through iTunes on my computer, but why would I do that? Because I don't remember that I was at 47 minutes on episode 592 of this one podcast, and that I had only listened to the first 20 minutes of this other one. So I have to use Stitcher because it's the only way that I can go from my web browser at my computer to my cell phone, to my web browser, not at work because I wouldn't do that because I have an important job. I need to be able to sync between all three of those places. And so I have to use Stitcher, which is a subpar app because sometimes certain shows get dropped for a while. So I guess I definitely I would just like to have more of a universal syncitude. That's not a word, but...
Have you checked out Downcast?
Downcast, I believe, is the one that it's, super delayed. Things take forever to get, and I don't even know if you can get Downcast on Android. I went through a few different ones, and I couldn't successfully... I mean, literally, this has been a conversation. We get Pocket Casts, for example. Pocket Cast is okay, but we don't get Downcast on Android. It's iPhone only, or Apple only, or whatever.
What about Overcast?
We don't get Overcast either. But we do get Pocket Cast. But Pocket Cast I don't like. I don't like the format. I don't like anything else. So I use Stitcher because it's the best, but it's not great either, especially when they're down for like 2 days. When that happened like a couple months ago, I was like, how do I get all my podcasts? I don't know what episode I'm on of anything. So iTunes is definitely the best, and not being able to have access to it because it's Apple only really sucks. Also, Amazon Fire TV, why can't I listen to my podcast through my stupid Amazon Fire TV box? Give me an app for that. Seriously? Major opportunity missed, Amazon, and I've sent them 3 letters, and I responded to every survey they've asked me about how much I like my Fire TV with, I like everything, but I also listen to podcasts, and why can't I play them through my Amazon Fire TV? Alright, I'm off my soapbox, rant over.
Good idea.
I like podcasts.
Yes, we're all podcast junkies.
I know, we got so sidelined there. But yeah, podcasting is an important part. Podcasts are an important part of my media entertainment, and I need to be able to access them freely.
Sounds like it's a good thing if you even just use the basic podcast thing for Apple, even though it sucks.
Yeah, it is better. The one that's run through iTunes is better than 90% of the apps that are available for Android.
It is pretty great. And the interface with my phone,
Yeah.
I love, too. I listen to them at night when my husband is snoring.
Yeah, when I had my
and
Nano, it was great.
Do a little thumbs up and get an extra menu, and it's like a sleep timer, like some TVs had, where I can say to shut it off when the current episode ends.
Yeah, I did that for my audiobooks and stuff. Like I said, when I had my Nano, it was great. I think I should just need to get another Nano is really, I think, the answer. But then I'm getting another device. Ah! Why do I want 2 devices? I just want one thing to do all the things.
Okay, well, our main discussion topic this week is leftover stuff from last week.
Oh, we're eating leftovers?
There's a lot of console news and VR stuff going on.
Oh, better not be meatloaf.
I know, right?
Yes, it's not even a meatloaf sandwich.
Open-faced turkey sandwiches after Thanksgiving. What? Anyway.
Oh, you know what? You know what the best drink is with that? There's Canada Dry makes this cranberry ginger ale.
That actually sounds kind of good.
That with the leftover turkey sandwich.
All right, I'm sorry. Yes, consoles and VR and what?
I'm naysaying all of that.
Yeah, so I want to kind of dive into this because this is something we didn't get a chance to talk about, and I definitely wanted to bring up was the fact that I think a lot of us were kind of trying to figure out, like, okay, we've had these consoles for a few years. We had the whole Sony PlayStation versus the Xbox One, standoff, which it feels like it's just what we do every couple of years. It's like, all right, it's time for the next.
I just got my Xbone at Christmas.
Yeah, well, I know. Me too. I didn't get my Xbox One until Christmas the same, and then I don't have it anymore. But I did have it. But what's interesting is that everybody was talking about console things, but they're talking about it, but it kind of sounds like they're not actually new consoles. Like, so for example, okay, so Sony.
They're not.
We'll start with Sony. So Sony confirmed that there is a PlayStation 4 Neo prior to E3, but there was no mention of the console at the event and no appearance of anything. So that tells me that it's probably not going to be... It's going to be a while before we have anything like that coming out, but yet they've talked about the PlayStation 4 Neo, and it's been name-dropped a few times. So obviously they're trying to get it out there.
Now...
But they're not telling us anything about it.
I thought the VR headset, when he was talking about that, there was something about that being compatible with the new console that was also 4K compliant.
Exactly. So that's the whole thing, is that, okay, so does that mean that the PlayStation 4 Neo is actually a new console, or is it just an upgrade to the current console? Which is kind of what it sounds like for Microsoft, too. So, okay, so then we've got Microsoft's Xbox One Scorpio, right? So the Xbox One S, they were revealed at E3, but they have like some technical improvements, like again the 4K resolution gaming like you mentioned, but it's not really a new console. It's really just kind of like an upgrade or a redesign to their existing consoles. That's kind of what it's looking like. So I don't know what that means exactly, and like they're not going to have exclusive video games for it. From what the conversations have been had, and that's why it's kind of weird. It's kind of a funky thing, and I don't know how I feel about that.
No new tech or hard drive or hard...
Well, it has tech, and there is new tech, but it's not a new, it's not a new frame. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, we're going to upgrade some things inside.
I think It is, though.
It is in name.
Because it's going to be, they said it's going to have Blu-ray.
Xbox One.
They can't just
Xbox
add
One
that
has
with the
Blu-ray
software.
already.
No, it doesn't. Not without an...
Right, but PlayStation
not,
does.
Yes, it does.
not without
Yes, it
like
does.
an extra thing that you have to buy, right?
No,
Kind of.
no. My Xbox One has Blu-ray. So does the PlayStation 4.
Well, yeah, that was expected.
Yeah, well, when Xbox One, that was the whole thing. Is PlayStation was crushing because they had the Blu-ray, and Xbox was like, or Microsoft was like, no, that's not going to work. So they have Blu-ray built in now. Because I was watching Blu-rays on my Xbox One. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, then I'm thinking of 360.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely the 360 did not have Blu-ray, and that was a big difference. But that's the thing, is that these are really just like, I think what they're doing is they're like packaging it like with a new console name, but it's really not new consoles. They're basically just redesigns and upgrades to the same thing, which kind of reminds me of when we went from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox 360 Elite, and then how that kind of just became the normal Xbox 360. That's kind of what this reminds me of a little bit.
Or like an iPhone 6 to an iPhone 6S.
Yeah, basically. I mean, in ways, yeah, because it's not, there's no special games, there's no exclusivity. The only thing is an upgrade to the 4K resolution, and I haven't seen any other, I mean, other than just more power, I don't see any other upgrades.
Interesting.
Like, there's no new tech here that they've talked about. At least that's the information I've got. Now, I do think that the big thing is, again, we talked about this a little bit before, but definitely the Play Anywhere technology with Microsoft, that seems to be their big angle, which I do like. And I heard something about this. I was listening to NPR today, and they were randomly talking about it, being able to play something and then go to the computer and play it. So that's definitely something that I can tell that Microsoft is positioning as their new claim to fame right now, and like why they're better than Sony, because it's always just the Microsoft Sony thing. And their whole thing is they're putting, it sounds like, a lot of their eggs on the whole Play Anywhere technology, which I could be cool with, because it will get me to actually buy more games, because I hate having the debate of, do I buy it for my console or my computer?
Okay, can we talk about Windows 10 actually for a brief moment?
Yeah. I like it. Everybody else hates it. I don't know why.
I hate it, and I have
I
not
love it.
upgraded to it because of all of the issues last November that I had with it. So, I have, and everybody else has, until the end of this month
Right.
to upgrade to Windows 10 for free before Microsoft starts charging for it. So, do people like myself, do we just go ahead and upgrade to it, or do we wait? Do we continue to wait? Are the bugs, like the major weird little freaking bugs that I
have
experienced,
had
fixed?
no issues. So that's the funny thing about this, is that I know a bunch of people where we upgraded to Windows 10 without any problem whatsoever. And then I had a friend who finally did his upgrade last weekend, and his system, he had to basically like reboot his whole system. It was a giant cluster F. I mean, it was a fucking nightmare. So I don't know what is causing some people to have these terrible issues, and some people it's just like, boop, it's fine. Because for me, it was fine. I followed the instructions. I did it the day it was available. I was one of those people that was like, oh, it's available, cool, for free.
So did I, and then I had touchpad issues, touchpad drivers. I don't have a touch screen.
Yeah, see?
Why did I have touchpad driver issues?
I don't know.
It was so freaking weird.
See, and I don't know if they fixed that, but I definitely, I'm like the wrong person to ask, because I had no issues at all. Mine was smooth sailing. I've had no issues with Windows 10. I love that I didn't have to pay for it. I know, I was like, sweet! I've heard all these horror stories, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like, I've been so good. The only thing that's weird is that Skype for Windows 10 is fucking awful. Thanks, Microsoft. It's terrible. Make Skype better. Like, why can't you make Skype better? Like, I don't understand why Skype can't be better.
Yeah, Skype seems to...
Like, I don't get it.
I wonder...
I don't understand why it's so hard.
I'm amazed that they're surviving. I mean, they're in such heavy use, but it seems to be the only tool that does all the jobs, but it doesn't do them well.
And international calling. That's one of the big reasons that it still exists, is because people use it for international calling a lot.
But why isn't somebody making one that works better?
I don't get it. I know. I agree. You agree.
Are they
You got
trying
me.
with like Discord and things like that?
That's the big thing. Is like I definitely use Discord now I like using Discord now because I don't have to. The problem is I used to use things like Ventrilo
Vent.
and other voice chat programs, but the problem is you gotta know your server, and then you gotta drop into one server and drop into the other server. The nice thing about Discord is I have my little order and I reorder them as I feel necessary for the different Discord servers that I hang out on. And I can click over real easily, see, is there anybody chatting in there without logging off? So I can stay where I am, but I can also be like, oh, hey, who's hanging out over there? Oh, look, there's a bunch of people. I'm going to go drop in there right now. So Discord has definitely become my favorite app for communicating. So I don't even use Ventrilo. I've hardly used Skype anymore for the same reason, just because I can accomplish so much more with Discord. And Discord runs from a browser and works much better on the phone.
True that.
I canceled my Mumble servers.
Yeah, that was the other one. We had Mumble too.
Didn't need it.
Same thing. Yeah, we don't even use that anymore because Discord does everything.
And I think Google Hangouts was also meant to fill that space.
I do use that,
but it doesn't. It just didn't catch on.
No, but we use it for. So I've used Google Hangouts a lot. I use it for work. Use it for everything.
I heard it was a little bit worse than Skype. Is that accurate?
The funny thing is that it used to be. The audio quality used to be terrible. So recently I was actually doing a video call with somebody, and it was really funny because we were on Google Hangouts, and I was like, oh, this video is doing something weird. It was glitching on my phone. But then we switched to Skype, and I was like, ugh, this audio quality is atrocious. So the funny thing is that the audio quality on Google Hangouts has actually been vastly improved, and I think it was terrible, and so they've definitely made improvements. But it actually has encouraged me to kind of consider using it a little bit more, because I do chat on Google Hangout a lot, like through my Gmail account. And it would be nice to be able to, and again, the reason I do that is because I can keep a conversation going from my computer or web browser at home to my browser, not at work, because I wouldn't do that because I'm important and paying attention to my job, and then back to my cell phone without having a break in kind of who I'm chatting with and what's going on. So, I don't know, the Hangouts audio was really good when I used it recently, so.
All good to know.
Yeah, I don't know. Microsoft does some things right, some things not so right.
Their games are great.
Yeah, and I am excited about this Play Anywhere technology. Like, I like that. I think they're buying into, or they're like honing in on something that I definitely think is going to be important to me. So I like that.
Yeah, and I don't even have the console, but I'm just like, buy a PC game and get it on the console for free, or vice versa. Maybe I'll get an Xbox One instead of a PS4 someday. Maybe.
Oh yeah, and then on the console note too, the other interesting thing is like Nintendo. So Nintendo has said that Nintendo NX, they've given a release date that it's supposed to launch in March of 2017. That's less than a year away, and we've never seen it.
Yeah.
It's like been mentioned in interviews and stuff, but they didn't even show it at E3 at all. So I don't know what that's about. But I think it's interesting that they've got a console that's going to be coming out in 8 months? No, I can't do math. 9 months. No, still can't do math. I was right the first time.
Are there like pictures out of it even?
No, I haven't seen any. I mean, I know they've name dropped it. We know it's been called Nintendo NX. They've talked about it, but we haven't seen any demos. I haven't seen anything out there. And they definitely didn't show anything at E3. So, but they did mention it in media interviews. They did mention it at E3. So I don't know what the deal with that is and why we aren't going to see it. So I don't know what their marketing plan is there. It usually seems like around this time is when they would start talking about it so people could pre-order it, right?
Well, as we talked about before, I think E3 is falling out of favor with the industry as the place to announce things. So there are other things coming up that they may just be choosing a different venue to do that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where all that goes. I think that's, not to kind of jump into the next one, but I think that's going to be the big driving force now is going to be with the console world. I think is going to rely heavily on what happens with virtual reality and VR headsets and options and whatever. And I will just start by saying I am so confused. I tried to Google my way into understanding what my VR headset options were, and I still don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand where what VR headset I would want, why I would pick a certain one. I think the idea of it seems really cool.
Price?
Like,
By the way,
yeah, but even the pricing is confusing because I'm like, okay, how much is this thing versus that thing? Like, for example, so I went on to GameStop because I buy stuff from GameStop, and I was like, oh my gosh, they have like a little link on their website. GameStop has a little link on their website at the top for like virtual reality, and it was like hardware, and I was like, oh sweet, this will totally help me, because it was just random, right? Because I was looking for something else that I was checking a pre-order on, and this was after I went on my Google search adventure. And so I clicked the VR link at the top there, and it does kind of show the different options, sort of. But then it's like, okay, so your options are PlayStation VR, which is through the PS4. You have Oculus Rift, which I don't understand what that plugs into. You have the HTC Vive, or Vive, or whatever. There's been argument about what that is. And then we get down to like the Samsung Gear, and then we get to the Merge VR. And so the Merge VR and the Samsung Gear seems like it's like, okay, this is going to be like for cell phone, or for like cell phones kind of when you read about it. So it's super confusing. I can't tell. Some things are available now, some things aren't. I know that the PlayStation our official release date is in October. So that one will make sense that's coming. So I guess the one that's out now, I guess, is the Vive and then the Oculus Rift. But I don't understand, can they be... The Oculus Rift is for PC, but I don't understand... It launched already, but yet I don't understand how or what I need to be able to experience VR on my computer, and how much is it going to cost, and how do I know if the hardware I have in my computer is going to function well with it, etc. Like, that's the part that's kind of confusing.
Vive works with Windows, by the way.
Right, and so that would be the other one. So I think my options are Oculus
PC.
Rift and Vive for running from the PC, from what I can understand. But what I can't understand is, it's like there's no straightforward, by the way, here's the hardware that you need in your computer to be able to functionally play VR experiences, or... That's the thing, I don't want to say games, because
Gotcha. So the system specs aren't being...
Yeah, it's really confusing. It's not user-friendly. It's definitely... I guess that's what it is when you're on the razor edge of new technology. But it definitely was a big focus at E3, for sure, was the virtual reality testing and all that. Or, yeah, demos.
And the only thing that I want out of VR eventually is for VR to lead to actual holodecks. So
I don't want to play games on it. I just want to experience it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really... That's what I was going to say. I don't know if it'll... I was going to say, I don't know if I can play VR games there, but I don't really want to play VR games. I want to do these, like, the Eagle Flight. Like, that was one that was talked about a lot. That sounds so cool. I want to check that out. That would be so cool.
Yeah, that looked really cool. I saw something that my hippy-dippy self thought was really great. USC Cinematic Arts Department in the little indie cave at E3 had this thing called interactivity. So it straps a subwoofer thing to your back.
What?
So you can feel this pulsing. That's part of it. And there's like some kind of scent diffusing thing that has essential oils. And the visual is like this
very
immersive,
hippy-dippy.
like
I think
Zen
that's a good
meditative
description.
experience. And having done things like guided meditation and visualization, I mean, it would just, you're stepping so into it. It would be so much easier, I think, than, because trying to quiet your mind and meditate can be really hard.
can be, yeah.
Your brain keeps trying to plug stuff into there. And this gives you input,
That sounds kind of...
but is designed to, just be very zen.
Reminds me of a scene from a story that I wrote once about possible future
Cool.
in a pod, in VR pod, like zero gravity kind of a pod thing where there's sense and there's vibrations, where when you're in there, it's legitimately your world, so you think that you're actually in there, which is cool. Maybe someday we'll get there. Like, we'll have some kind of pod, or the next step that's going to eventually lead to the holodeck, because that would be awesome.
That would be cool. I mean, holodecks, that's pretty much what we're all waiting for, right? Bring on the holodecks.
Please and thank you.
So how were those leftovers? I thought they tasted pretty good.
Yeah.
They were all right.
I think it was all right. Fairly delicious. All right. So, Grills, what are you most anticipating coming up right now?
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Loon, go first. Loon, you're first.
Oh no.
All right, I'll go first. Okay. So, Monster Hunters Generations. So it comes out on July 15th, and I'm super excited because in my move, I lost both my DSs. They're all disappearing. I don't know where they are, and I made a thing where I was like, okay, when I unpack all my nerd boxes, if I can't find it, then I'm going to say, rest in peace, Pink DS. I don't know where you are. Rest in peace, original DS with access to Game Boy Advance games. Sad face. But time for me to get a new DS. So, perfect timing. The Monster Hunters Generations action RPG game launches on July 15th. And the DS that comes with the bundle, like the bundle DS, is freaking awesome looking. So, I'm going to be buying that this month. Either this paycheck or the one at the end of the month. I'm going to be purchasing the Monster Hunters Generations game and DS bundle because it's freaking cool. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Right on. Is it Monster Hunter available for Wii as well?
I have no idea. That's a good question. Actually, I can tell you. Hold on.
I've watched it.
It seems cool.
I've watched it played on streams.
There's like a downloadable content for, as far as I know, it's for Nintendo 3DS. As far as I know, but they might be running it like through. You can run it through. You can still stream it, which is cool. There's like some cool interaction, but it seems pretty cool. And then there's Link is somehow involved in some downloadable content. And there's some other like nerd pandering that's happening. So I'm stoked. It looks cool. It's pretty, and it's an excuse for me to get a shiny new DS that looks really friggin' awesome. So woohoo!
My kids have a 3DS.
That's what I need. I didn't have a 3DS before, so it's kind of a chance for me to get an upgrade.
It's another thing where I couldn't actually use the 3D part because it would make me sick, so I'd have to turn that part off. But I could still use the device. Chris, what are you looking forward to right now?
I went ahead and bought some games on the Steam sale that just happened that ended on the 4th at 10 a.m. yesterday. There were so many games that I wanted to buy, and I ended up buying some things that were on my wish list that have been on my wish list for a very long time. So I'm looking most forward to Sunless Sea, which if you have never played the browser game Fallen London, do that. Go ahead and type in your browser right now, fallenlondon.com, play it, get bored with it after a week. It's fine, but play it right now. It's awesome. And then Armacrog, which is basically the spiritual successor to my second favorite video game of all time, The Neverhood. It's a claymation puzzle game. And the makers of that original game made this game. So it was on sale, so I grabbed it. I snatched it up. And then I also bought the Shadowrunner bundle, so that I have all 3 Shadowrunner games, because that sounds like a ton of fun and a ton of RPG fun goodness, cyberpunk RPG goodness. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to a bunch of figuring out what I'm gonna do when my husband's bonus comes and we get me a new machine. We have a listener who might be helping me build a gaming machine out of spare parts. If it'll run Legion, then I don't have to worry about it and can stay with my beloved Mac platform. Otherwise, I got some hard decisions to make. And I'm looking forward to reading these comics because I picked them up and I've been too busy. I've got Mighty Thor #8 in my hand and Harley Quinn #29. And there was a user in Dill's stream one night said that this Han Solo comic was excellent, and so I Facebooked my comic book store and they put it aside, and I've got the #1 of that to check out. So
Cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Art looks great. Haven't had time to read it yet though.
Cool. Well, I want to give you guys a reminder. We have our Patreon, and if you've enjoyed the show, if you like what we're doing and you want to help us continue to do it, remember you can support us. Any support helps at www.patreon.com/grills. That's GRILS. So thank you to all of our patrons, and remember your feedback is always welcome. And on the contest update front, we do still have some codes to give away for our next few listeners that sign up on Patreon. And for a list of the game codes that are available, you can check that out at geekgrills.com. Also, we love iTunes reviews. We don't have any new iTunes reviews this week, so please go review us now. It helps us out a lot on iTunes, and most importantly, it's free. So there's your option if you don't want to throw us a couple bones on Patreon. Woohoo!
Okay, so you can find me on the internet at 9 of 12 on Twitter. Chris, where can folks find you?
At Twitter as well, at Chris Van Pelt, KrisVanPelt.
And I am The Jen Says on Twitter and streaming on twitch.tv/TheJenPlays. I streamed a whole 8.5 minutes this week as I was testing my stream setup, and I think we might be go, and if we are, I'm hoping that Sunday afternoons could quite possibly be a regular stream time to at least get my feet wet and get started on becoming more regular with streams. So that should be cool. Check it out, twitch.tv/TheJenPlays.
Invite me, we'll play together.
Yes.
Yeah, and can I host you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, hosts are cool.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Good game.
Good game.
Good game.
GG.
Good game.
Good game.
G-
Good game.
Good. G.
Where's good game button? Where's the button?
If you enjoyed this show and have the quill skill to shriek speech, leave us a 5-star unique critique on iTunes or thrill us with the size of your handbill by spilling goodwill into our tills at patreon.com/grills. We can also be found windmilling around Facebook and YouTube at facebook.com/geekgrills and youtube.com/geekgrills where we like to chill. Tweet your siren songs where the throngs belong on Twitter at geekgrills where we're dressed to kill. For more info on the show though, go to geekgrills.com where you can find previous episodes, show notes, and current contest information. Send us your psalms and qualms to geekgrills@gmail.com or give us a ring at 508-474-5577 where we can hear your lovely voice sing the zing thing. Thanks for listening!